Coming up next, we will feature Chit Chat with Manoj. The well-known host here is Mr. Manoj Singh, who is the CEO of Caesar Productions. Mr. Manoj Singh's Chit Chat in such a short amount of time has become the talk of the town. His guests are from different aspects of life. I love his take-home message from Chit Chat. Pay attention and see if you are in agreement. Today, Mr. Singh's guest is Mr. Piyush Kumar, who is the president of an organization called KUSH. Let's join these two gentlemen in their dialogue.
Welcome to Chit Chat. I'm Manoj Singh. Hello, Adab, Namaste. On this show, we discuss about important South Asian community issues, which are sometimes hard to talk about, sensitive, and even ignored because of our cultural background. But we all know we have to talk. We have to understand what the other party is thinking about. So today, on our show, we have a very important topic, South Asian LGBT member challenges. LGBT stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community members. Joining me today for this discussion is Piyush Kumar, who is a president of an organization called KUSH DC. Welcome, Piyush. I really appreciate your time. Piyush, why don't you tell us more about KUSH DC?
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for having this important session here. We don't get many opportunities to come out, so thank you. KUSH DC is the DC area's South Asian LGBT community, and it's basically a space where those of us that identify as Desi and also identify as LGBT can come together and feel like we don't have to separate one identity from the other, and we can still come together and be whole. How we do this is through poetry readings, we do this through political roundtables, we do this through activism, we do this through support groups, and probably our most popular event is our Bollywood dance parties, where everybody can still be who they are and be there together.
So tell us more about how one can become a member, and is it open to all, and we can come to your events?
Sure, that's an excellent question. So our primary purpose is to create that safe space for those communities that may feel that it's hard to be both gay and Indian. And so our primary goal is to keep it a safe space for them. So we make that sure. Then after that, we encourage our allies. We encourage folks that are part of the larger South Asian community and non-South Asian community, non-LGBT, to come into some of our events and participate with us as our friends, our family, and everybody else. So we don't have strict membership, it's just a community. Get together and come together and enjoy yourself.
Yep, that's very good. I'll come to one of your events.
That'd be great.
What are some of the challenges for you, and how can we help you?
Okay. One of the biggest challenges for the LGBT community, and this is the larger LGBT community, it doesn't have to be dependent on the culture or the race, but it all boils down to acceptance. So that's acceptance by our families, our friends, and just feeling like we're treated as equals or part of the community, especially in the South Asian community. In the South Asian community, we're such a close-knit community. It's those familiar relationships that we're all so close. We celebrate holidays together. We interact so closely that one thing we can do as a community is make sure that if someone is gay or bisexual, or lesbian or transgender, they are not afraid to come out of the closet and say, hey, this is who I am. One thing we can do as a community is make sure that we talk about these issues openly within our communities, like we're doing here.
Yeah, I agree.
And talk about them in a positive light, and have these discussions. So it's really just acceptance.
I agree, and this is a very good lead into my next question. like you said, we come from a sort of conservative cultural background, and I know, is a little bit personal question, and wanted to ask that please share with us the process you went through for your parents to accept you, and because if we want people like you to talk, so the other people who are having, the community members who are having similar issues can deal with it.
That's it. It's a great question because, you know, when I was younger and struggling with letting someone know, or how do I let someone know, it would have been nice to have that roadmap. Now, you know, everybody has their own journey when they go through this, but from my perspective, what we did was, it was hard. It was tough for your family. You come, like you said, come from a conservative background, and not only was it from a religious angle where it becomes tough to understand, but I think the larger issue, at least within my family and our cultural side, was what will the community think? And you've heard the phrase "log kya kahenge."
Correct. Yeah.
And we sometimes focus on that so much that we forget to focus on, hey, the person that's dealing with this issue, usko kya ho raha hai?
And that's not only with your issue, that is true in our culturally, even if it comes to divorce or some of the other issues, log kya kahenge. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
People are more worried about what family members and friends are going to think about, you know, when it's your life and your happiness.
Yeah, and I guess I was lucky in my instance where I had a sister that understood these issues, that was willing to work with me to explain to my parents what it meant to be LGBT. You know, one of my mom's earliest things was, there are no gays in India. Or she said, you know, I don't understand this. How does this make sense? And so it's just explaining and saying, hey, this is completely a normal thing. And we just need to talk about it. And so once we talked about it, they were much more open to it. They understood it. But then the second step was now telling log, the society, as to that their son was gay, and how do we tell them? So that was the second part that they had to deal with, and it does happen slowly. It's not something that happens overnight, and we need to recognize that. So what they did was, they did sit down, and they sat down with their friends, and they explained it to them. More surprisingly to them, everybody opened their arms and just said, you know, Piyush has been in our community for so many years. There's nothing different about him. He's the same guy. Now we just know something else about him. And it was an amazing realization for them and for myself. And recently, there was an Indian lesbian wedding in LA. I don't know if you've heard about it. But so it was a wedding that basically it was done Indian style, and it was an Indian girl and an American girl that were getting married, and all these pictures were coming out from the wedding, and they were all over the media outlets. There was a Hindu traditional wedding, and my dad forwarded me an email that had the pictures of the wedding, and you know how in emails you can see the forwards.
Correct.
I started seeing that. It had been passed around the Indian community from one uncle and auntie to the next, and it was just a good feeling that there was this level of acceptance.
Correct. I'm happy for you, and I would request our community members to accept, you know, LGBT members. And I have some very good friends I know about who are living, who have chosen to be or like it, and that's what they are, and I have to accept them, and they, like you said, they are no different to me, so I again will request you to do the same, and it's not only this issue, but even change and different other issues, important issues in our community. So let's talk about, you know, the biggest news this year was DOMA. You know, Supreme Court declared it unconstitutional. And I'm already seeing sweeping changes in federal government with benefits. I see emails coming out that they get same benefits, literally everything, like it used to be for a married couple as man and woman. What are your thoughts on DOMA?
Well, I think it's an excellent thing. It's an excellent thing for the community. And for those that don't know, DOMA is the Defense of Marriage Act. And it basically denied federal benefits to same-sex couples. So this meant that, for example, if someone were to get married in Massachusetts, which passed gay marriage many years ago, they would have these state benefits, but they still could not have federal benefits. So one issue that's important in our community is immigration. And we need to make sure that on the federal level, if you were a US citizen marrying someone that has an H-1B visa, or you were with them for 7 years, 8 years, and wanted to get married to them, the state would recognize that marriage, but on the federal level, you couldn't sponsor them for citizenship. So those issues come into play, and now that DOMA has been struck down, states that have same-sex marriage, those people will have those protections on the federal level as well. Now, there's only about 13 states that have gay marriage, so there's still a lot of work to be done, and that's one thing the community can help us with.
Correct. Yep. And I know President Obama was a big supporter of this whole issue. Any last-minute comment, Piyush?
The one thing I guess I'd like the community to understand is it's not something that's a choice. It's a part of who we are. And when we start accepting that and understanding that, it makes the person that is LGBT, that's in your family, your friends, feel so much better about themselves. And then they develop a better relationship with you as well. And to the folks that are out there that may be struggling with it, whether you're a teenager or whether you're older and later in life, there are resources out there to help you. And two that I'll mention are, there is KhushDC. It's KHUSHDC.org. Come to our website, learn more about us, email us, call us. And then the other resource is this new initiative that just started, and so excited about it. It's called the Desi Queer Helpline. It's an anonymous phone line that you can call and just talk to someone about anything you have going on. And the website there is deqh.org.
Good tips. Thanks, Piyush. This is it for today. We only had few minutes, and like I said, these are important issues. I hope you'll take this topic to your dining table, talk to your friends, relative, community members. These are important issues, and talking helps. Please provide feedback. Please also let us know what topic you'd like us to talk about next on Chit Chat for Manoj. Signing off today, and thank you, Piyush, again. Hasta la vista. Goodbye. All the best, and have a nice day.